Welcome back to My Motivation. So during the break, no commercials on YouTube, but during the little pause we just had, we split the audience up into two groups, male and female. The males wrote down their top five pet peeves about women. The women did the same. So we're gonna let them come up and they elected a spokesperson. We're gonna start with, of course, ladies first. Miracle, make your way up.
Okay, so we came up with, we had more than 5, but we had to limit it to 5, our top 5 pet peeves. So, and I think a lot of these are self-explanatory, and a couple of them are, we had commitment issues. Yeah, brothers, y'all have a problem committing. Yeah. We have double standards, insensitive, prideful, and communication.
So, what do you have to say about? Can we see? All right, here we go. Which one y'all want first?
Double standards. Double standards. Yes.
Let's just start at the top, y'all.
Okay.
Commitment issues. All right. Being that this is a college crowd, everybody in here is probably 25 and out there, or in that range. Commitment is a big issue. I would say that a lot of men don't know what they're committed to. As women, you all are still growing. You all are still learning. You all are still becoming more of yourselves. And in that comes a lot of change. Guys aren't always, susceptible to change. If you start one way, they like you that way. When you evolve and you start changing and you start growing, you get comfortable, guys tend to shy away from committing to that. They like to know that it's a contract. You said this, you said that, you said this, you said that, and they expect you to do or be all of that. It doesn't always work like that. Some guys do genuinely have commitment issues, though. Some guys just won't give you what they want, but that's not something you can fix. That's something the individual guy has to want to change. You can't make a man commit. You can't make him step up. You can't make him be more of a man. And as a woman, you just got to accept that. Just because you love him doesn't mean he's the man for you. And I think that a lot of times women don't like that. They don't like that, the fact that the man they love isn't the man they need. So we'll do double standards next. We all have that. That's a human thing. I'm pretty sure the guys probably have that on their list too. Can I ask really quickly though? What double standards? A little bit more specific. Double standards as far as sex goes, because I feel like that's what y'all are talking about.
Not just that, but just in general. Like a female, something that a guy does, something that is not pleasing to her.
Okay.
If he does it, it's not a big deal. But if she does it, it's just
the end of the world.
It's the end of the world. You know what I mean? That's just what it is. Like, for example, if a guy cheats on a girl, this is a general one. If a guy cheats on a girl, I cheated on you, it's supposed to be, think back. If you cheat on him, it's a wrap. It's over with. Get out of my face. Blah, 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 blah.
Deuces.
All right. Alright guys, we are extremely particular about what we feel is ours. If we feel like it's been tarnished, tainted, any type of way, we'll kind of throw it away. Women are natural fighters, are naturally stronger. Y'all naturally persevere, so y'all won't quit as fast. Guys tend to quit a little faster than women. A double standard is really a matter of what you accept as a woman. Guys call girls hoes because girls call girls hoes. A girl will call a girl hoe a lot faster than a guy will. And I'm not attacking you all. What I'm saying is that guys respond to women in virtually every aspect of life. If a dude if he want to get a girl's attention, he'll try to be good at basketball. If he wants to, he'll try to be fast. He'll try to get a nice car. Guys respond to what girls like naturally. That's just what we do. So if you set a certain standard, if he sees you calling her a hoe because she had sex with somebody that you like, right? And he would call her one too. But if women treated themselves amongst each other, if you guys acted a little different amongst each other, then it wouldn't be as many double standards. I don't feel like, because guys don't really care as long as they get what they want. And I'm not saying that in a bad way. You don't always have to get them, but guys don't necessarily care. You know, hoes get attention, right? So they don't care if she is one or not. And I don't mean to offend anybody with that, but I'm just saying, you guys waste your time calling each other that. They respond to it in that manner. But the double standard is really only what you accept. If he cheat on you, and you know you say, all right, I'm gonna fight through it, and then something happened and you cheat on him and he want to let you go, let him miss out. Why are you mad? Let him miss out.
Something's real.
Can you swing around
Yeah.
really quick? I want to ask.
I know. That's what I'm thinking.
So how do
Relationship is that?
how do the double
Lord have
standards
mercy.
make y'all ladies feel?
Say that again?
How do the double standards, how do they make you guys feel? Crazy? Confusing? Confusing?
It is confusing. For me, it's one of those things where I feel like, we should be a little bit more on equal playing fields. Not necessarily that it's a game or whatever, but, you just the way you feel that, you don't appreciate that I do it, I don't feel like I don't appreciate when you do it either. You know what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. And because females a little bit more emotional, it's 10 times worse for me. That's how I feel about it. So that's just my thing. It's my emotions and my feelings.
Can I interject? But it goes back to what he said, whereas females, a guy will cheat on you, but you take him back. So
Yeah, no, you're right.
It's your fault.
but so
No, you're right.
when you do it and they dropped you, so it goes back to what he says, it's what you accept. So you have to.
I'm not just saying with cheating, I'm saying with anything because, everybody makes a mistake.
But it still goes back to what he says, it's what you accept and what you.
I believe
Yeah,
it applies across the
right.
board. Whether it's cheating, whether it's communicating, whether it's being forthright with information, whether it's high, it applies across the board. I believe that he's going to do what you allow him to do, and it's a balance. Today, women don't want to set expectations. Y'all don't want to be disappointed. Y'all are scared. They're like, wow, I'm going to put him up here and he's going. You don't put him at the top of the mountain first. You help him walk up.
Yeah.
You start him here with basic expectations. I expect you to be honest. I expect you to keep it real. I expect you to be genuine. I expect you to open my door. Whatever it is you expect, whatever you feel you deserve. Once he shows you he can do that, I expect you to be trustworthy. I expect you to be where you say you're going to be. I expect you to keep your word. You gradually rise your expectations. But females are scared to expect because you don't want to be disappointed. If you don't want to be hurt and you don't want to be happy. It's one and the same.
Okay, I'm going to really quickly say something, then we're going to go to Miracle and Dami. Another thing I think is when you get clear, this is something Rob talks about for single people, when you get clear about your own values and your own beliefs, you're only going to attract to yourself those people that share your same values and those same beliefs. If you're not clear about those two things, if you're lying to yourself in some area in your life, you're going to attract a liar. So you need to clarify, get really clear about what it is that you value, what it really is that you believe, and that's the type of male or female that you're going to attract into your life. So
It's a quote that says you attract what you are, not what you want.
right, exactly.
So.
Miracle.
In regards to what Rob said about expectations, I definitely agree with the expectations about men, but for me, I really think it's also about the expectations that we have for us as women. I feel like we have to hold ourselves to a high pedestal and hold our standards high because we're setting the example for what we want in a man. So if you expect your man to live up to your high standards, you have to also put yourself up on those high standards, expect a lot from yourself, and you have the right to expect a lot from your man. So I kind of really feel like women really need to expect a lot from ourselves as people and as women.
Men know who they can and cannot trust. We know the ones who are not going for certain things.
Yeah.
But what happens is women tend to make exceptions. Those are far more dangerous than expectations. exceptions will hurt you way more than expectations every time.
Dom, you had something to say back there.
I was going to speak on a gender roles thing.
Hold it down.
And, I think that's just like a societal construct. Like we have gender roles. I don't think it's necessarily double standard. For example, if you let's say you're in a household, you probably typically don't want to take out the trash or typically want to fix a washing machine. And the man generally typically doesn't want to change the diapers. So you know what I'm trying to say? So it's not so much a double standard, but it's gender roles. I mean, of course, there's times when you have to compensate and give and take. But I think when we find our gender roles and you have an understanding, things can work. And also, as far as when you give an example of cheating, just to piggyback off of what you were saying, I kind of second that. If you have certain standards that are deal breakers in your life, and somebody breaks that, then I guess honor yourself and not go back. You know what I'm trying to say? Because if you're saying you're gonna fight through it and you get disappointed, that's on you. So like, of course, there's certain things that people as humans we make mistakes. I'm trying to say people slip up, say what they're not supposed to say, get caught up in their own ego, etc. And we pass through that. But if a man or a woman in your life does something that's completely unacceptable, don't push yourself to accept it because you're trying to be a good person. But you're not being a bad person by letting them go. You're just respecting yourself.
That boy good.
Just so you guys know, Dami is the next guest on My Motivation.
I guess we can move on to insensitive.
Yeah.
Yes.
I've never heard that one before, to be honest.
That's an interesting one.
Yeah.
I believe we all can be insensitive at some point. Men particularly, she says that women are naturally more emotional than men. I disagree on the part that men have emotions as well. Women are more expressive.
Yeah.
They'll show a little more. A man can easily say, forget it, I don't care. Doesn't mean he really doesn't care. He's just trying to make himself forget it or make himself not care. So he'll go play basketball, he'll go out, he'll go do something to take his mind off of it. Because, it's in our nature to fix things, but not all men are fixers. Some throw away, some replace. Not all men are fixers. And I think that women expect the men that they love to automatically be a fixer. You have to learn that. You have to genuinely learn how to put some work into it. You have to genuinely learn how to repair it. Not every man's built to do that. Some are just going to throw it away and move to the next. And, you got to let them do that. But, when you express yourself, when I coach, I always tell women, write down a list of the qualities of your ideal man. Whether that's honest, smart, goal-driven, God-fearing. Write down those qualities, right? Then compare that list to the man that you have in your life. Don't cut him no corners, don't cut him no slack. Compare that list word for word, quality for quality, and see if he adds up. If he doesn't, then you have a clear-cut solution of what you're supposed to do. But a lot of women aren't willing to do that, and if a quality you have is you want him to be affectionate, you want him to be a good communicator, and the guy you have doesn't want to talk, and you're setting yourself up. When you're hurting, of course he's not going to respond. Is that him or is it you? You knew he wasn't a communicator.
So it's our fault to fall?
It's not your fault. It's not your fault. Listen, if I know that behind that door is some fire, right? And I know I don't have a fire retardant suit. I don't want to walk in that fire. But I still choose to walk in that door. I'm going to get burned. All right? You have to understand that to me, it's all about my solution. I can't expect you as a woman to be my superwoman, and you can't expect me as a man to be your superman. I believe that if I set myself up, I need you to qualify first. All right? I need you. If I say I want somebody who's affectionate, and I know I ask you, are you affectionate? You say no. We're probably not going to work, and I need to accept that. But if I ask you, are you affectionate? And you say, well, generally I haven't been, but I can be with the right person. Then we have something that we can build upon, But I don't think that, it's all about what you communicate.
With that, right? For example, I think maybe that's a problem that we have too, because it's not communicated like that. Because you might automatically think, okay, well, maybe he could be that person. You know what I'm saying? Instead of asking if he could be. Because a lot of people don't say how they really are. He's not going to say, I feel like, which I've experienced. He's not gonna say, no, I'm not that person. He's not gonna just tell you outright, because he might not want to lose you.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? Just because of that one thing. So, you know, there's a struggle there too.
It's all about asking the right question. It's simple. It's all about asking the right question. If you feel like he's dancing around the answer, then you have to ask a more direct question. You know, and that depends on if you as a woman really want to know. A lot of times we don't really want to know. We want to ask a vague question so you can give me a great answer, and I can say, well, I asked him, and he told me this, so I'm good. You know, a lot of times when our emotions are connected, we don't want to know that bad. We can get to y'all. Hold on, man. Let's handle their list first. Prideful. Pride is a natural thing for men. We are very prideful, but there are ways to get around pride. I feel like one of those ways, you know, trust, consistency, and patience. If you come at me, right, and you are what I feel to be attacking me, right, I'm gonna put a wall up immediately. I'm gonna reject you. I'm gonna try to keep you out because I feel like you're coming at me. Is that my pride? Is that my ego? Yes. But as I believe that, you know, smart women are tactful. You know that if I ask him a lot of questions, he's gonna get defensive. He's gonna think I'm trying to figure out something. So what I'll do is have a random conversation, and I ask a question here, and we'll talk about something. And I'll come back to this later and ask another question here. But it's all about your tact. It's all about your approach. It's all about what you try to do. Don't let your emotions, you know, get you to bombarding him, because he's automatically going to get defensive. The pride is going to kick in, and then you're not going to get any information. You're just going to get an attitude. And, you know, if he has any kind of savvy, he's going to try to flip it, you know, and that's going to further frustrate you and make you feel like he's more insensitive. Communication. All right. When a man cares, he's going to talk. If a man genuinely wants to communicate, if he wants, you know, when he's pursuing you, he communicates a lot, right? He talks. He responds to your questions. He listens to you. He, you know, asks you how he communicates. He doesn't have a problem communicating when he's pursuing you. You know, it's when you allow him to stop communicating after he has you. I think you have to keep challenging the man to communicate. They'll talk. When they care, when they want something, have you ever seen a man try to get something he wants? He talks.
Or you need to look at the different ways that guys communicate. Might not always be verbal. It might just be through them not talking as a form of communication too. You just need to try to understand what is that saying about that person, and if I want to be with that person.
When you said keep challenging them to communicate, in what ways are you able to do that without being annoying or nagging?
That's a good question.
That's a good We all want to know. They want to know too.
The easiest way is to write it down. The easiest way is to write it down. You want to get your point across, write it down. What you want to do is, when you start writing, you may be pissed off when you start, right? But once you start reading those words and you start seeing what you're saying, your thoughts are going to become more concise. It's not going to be emotion, it's going to be substance. Men, if you bombard them with emotion, they're going to respond in a way that they're not going to communicate. But if you give them substance and say, you did this, it made me feel this way, but I would prefer it if you do this. If you come at them in a different way, and I say write it down just because he has to stop and read it. If he cares, he'll stop and read it. If not, then that's on him. But he has to stop and read it. That way he doesn't have to worry about you having tears. That way he doesn't have to worry about you having a head full of steam, or, he just has him in your words. If you really want to be clear, just write it down. I think that's the simplest way. It rarely fails.
Sometimes I think it really helps too by attacking the issue, not the person. So that way it can avoid someone becoming defensive.
Right.
And then I guess also when you try to approach with a problem, come up with a solution too that you can present. Because sometimes when you're complaining about a problem and there's no solution, neither one of you guys can figure it out. You're both like, okay, well, you're mad, now what? But if you come with a solution, it's kind of like, okay, well, now we have a way, an option to solve it. And I think that might be a really good way to kind of insert that into problem solving in the relationship.
I believe that women who are better at holding their temperament can do that. Sometimes we just get mad. You know, you get mad and you want to be heard. You want him to get it. You want him to feel the way he made you feel.
So to use both of those first, like you said, write it down, and then take Miracle's approach. Nice marriage of the two. You had your hand up.
Yes, I was wondering, like, what about communicating lies, like lying? Like,
What's there to communicating lies?
like that's, I mean, I thought we had put that in there, the lying, but I was together. Communicating, like lying, that communication is lies, fabrication.
Oh, I see what you're saying.
Lying.
if-
There we go. Lying.
Number 6, liar. Are you saying like you guys are sitting in communication, but you feel like, but he's not? He's telling you how he
There you go,
feels.
girl. She got it.
He's telling you how he feels.
If y'all communicating and you know he's lying, then why are y'all communicating? I don't.
No, that don't make no sense.
I'm being serious. If you're communicating with this guy, and you know he's lying. Why do you continue to communicate? Why are you trying to pull the truth out of a lie?
To me, I feel like she's trying to figure out, like, if you with somebody and they're always lying all the time, but you want to work with them, how do you work with them to make them not want to do such a
I mean,
lie?
that's really what I was saying, actually lying, but I was trying to put it into communication.
Trying to grab a
Who lying to you, boo-boo?
That's what I was saying, lies.
I don't get it. If you know they're lying,
No, I'm
why
sorry,
you-
sir. What I was saying was just lying. I was just saying lying, really. I was just tagging on communication because we only had 5. I was just really saying lying.
If they decide to lie, I think lying is cut and dry. It's when you make exceptions for people, then
I mean-
you make room for their lies.
Yeah.
But everyone's
But
lying
people,
Everyone has lies.
everyone has lied before.
Everyone has lies.
But you hear more times men going around being deceptive and fabricating things. I mean, that's an issue that I've seen amongst different circles. Like my homegirl, she worked for SunTrust. She just graduated, got her job in DC, and all I hear in SunTrust is this guy had lied to this guy, and someone's having this in the parking deck, and it's lies, and then they running into this person, and all this other stuff. And I'm just like, you're lying.
No, you lying.
You're gonna have your lies. You're gonna have your male lies, and you're gonna have your female lies. I mean, we all share one common thing in this room, and that's pain. We all been hurt. We've all been lied to. We've all been played. You know, at least 98% of us. You know, so. I mean, we all have that. Everybody not gonna tell
But
you
if
the
you
truth.
never heard Mama was a Rolling Stone, so.
I mean, just because you haven't heard the song doesn't mean you don't have to. Mama was
No.
All right, you guys are good. We're gonna get to the guys list. Yeah.
So, yeah. First and foremost, we thank you for communicating and letting us know what's on your heart and your minds when you go to sleep at night. That's gonna help us be better men, okay? Yay! Now, to our men to men, brother to brother conference that we had, it's right here. Excuse the penmanship. I didn't go to school using markers, but I'm gonna make this real quick. When you show interest, you do the things that you know we kind of like. You got our attention. Number 1, don't lead us on. Don't do that. Don't do that. Don't do that. And on top of leading us on, don't put us in a.
Let them marinate on
Oh, I mean, yeah, okay. Hold up, sit back.
Flash it this way.
Don't worry
Flash it
about
this
it.
way.
Don't worry about it. I'm gonna break it down. You
Alright,
good?
I
So,
got it. You got it. All right.
did you get to see your brother T? Did you get to see?
Yeah, yes,
Okay,
I
okay. Number 2, don't put us in a box. Don't stereotype us. Don't say that. Oh, you one of them. Oh, you a dog. Oh, you Greek. Yeah, you got all the bait. Oh, like don't do that. Hold up. I'm only on number 2. It's getting real in here. Number 3. All right. Trap. This Rob said this too. Like when you're building with a male, when you're getting to know him, one thing that we don't like, the one thing that's gonna push us away is if you corner us up, if you give us the ultimatum, all or nothing. Yes, yes, hold that, hold that. Number four, social networks is the death of all you females. I need not say anymore. We can get into that later. Instagram, Twitter, Twitch, and all of them. Lastly.
Can I ask you a question?
Hold up, I gotta get through the list, mama.
It was about that,
But I mean, you got to write it down.
Clarification.
Yes.
Number 5. I know sometimes you want us to be the macho character, the masculine presence in a situation, whether it's you going out, having an event or function, you know. Sometimes we want you all to take leadership. We want to please you all. Sometimes y'all put the role in our hands like, you the man. You get in the car, so where we going? Where you want to go? I know y'all done that before. Where you going? So sometimes we like it when y'all take charge and y'all, you know, y'all take initiative and y'all put in y'all input. Sometimes we don't always want to do what we want to do. We want to do what you want to do.
I'm done.
So that's a lot to think about. Leading us on, Rob.
First of all, thank you, Jay, for the showmanship. Jay's an amazing host, man. But leading us on, because I believe in you women, I don't want to believe you do it on purpose, but we know some girls do for that craving of attention, that type of stuff. It's inconsiderate, it's insensitive, it's a lot of things just because you don't want to be lonely. No guy likes that, especially when you're trying to approach a situation genuinely. Half the men that women refer to as dogs have been led on one too many times, and they decided that the games get results versus the genuineness, so they start playing. I believe that's simple enough. If you don't do it on purpose or whatever, just that attention, that desire for attention. We all have it. Men have it. Women have it. But you know, don't allow that to hurt a good guy.
Can I stop you for 1 second? How many guys in here have felt like they've been led on before?
I mean, yeah.
Sorry, I just wanted to for you.
Do you think that that's more of the issue that women have?
As far as being led on?
No, as far as leading on.
Yeah.
You said being led on?
No, leading on. Men lead women on as well.
Not as much.
Okay.
No,
All right. Hold on.
If the dream is in the store, that don't mean buy it.
Hold on. As far as these lists go, well, one thing is clear is that the females could have wrote this male list, and the males could have wrote the female.
No, yeah.
So we're not attacking. We're just handling
No,
the
I'm
situation.
asking you.
Well, I'm a man, so
Yeah, so you
I'm
just
gonna
feel like.
pick y'all. But
I'm just asking.
I mean, being objective, I would like to say that it's even.
Okay.
But I don't know. I haven't had the other experience. I don't want it. So, number 2, stereotypes. That's a big deal for men, especially if he's a man that is known or somewhat popular, or if he plays a sport, or you know, that type of stuff. That's extremely annoying. And I know as women, you know, you guys are watching out. Women don't want to make the same mistake again. They don't want to fall for that guy again. They don't want to, you know, get played again, that type of stuff. But doing that, you really just limit yourself. Because even though I always say that all men have similarities, but we're definitely not all the same. You know, we definitely don't approach things the same. And one thing is, you can bring out something in me that she can't. You can bring out something in me that she can't. It's different. Every man is not the same with every girl. It's not. And I've had girls who motivated me to do nothing, and I've had girls who made me feel like I could do anything. So it just depends on who the woman is with that man and that time in his life. But you're really cheating yourself when you're saying you're a writer and girls retweet you all the day. So I know you got beta. You know, you're a host, and you know you're a Kappa, so girls love you. Blah blah blah. You're really treating. Nobody wants somebody that nobody wants anyway. So I don't even know why girls, you know, really take it there. But go ahead.
So the stereotypes are there for a reason. They're like, people say it because most of the time it's known fact, right?
Okay.
So, say he's a host, he has all the bait.
Mm-hmm.
That's what it is because it's been seen, it's been done, and that's why they're there.
I'll take that. That's a valid point. But is it valuable information?
And
it could be.
I want to defend myself.
No, it's not about you, but I'm just saying everything you know about a person is not valuable information. One, you have to check the source that you heard it from. You know, the same is useful. I don't know. I guess it depends on who you are. Go ahead.
Me?
Yeah.
Oh, I was just gonna say, quick statement. There's like a saying that's like, you not having knowledge of something and having understanding and then having wisdom, what separates that is your experience. So if you read about something, you hear about something, you watch about something, until you experience it, you don't really understand it. So not saying that you have to give everybody in the world a chance, but like you said, be mindful of the credible sources, be mindful, before you negate someone due to what you've heard.
We'll move on past that. The trap. All of me, none of me.
Yeah. We had some sidebars too. We had like 6s and 7s too. Y'all didn't know that, but it's gonna come out later.
What does that say? Friends involved, relationship?
Yeah.
Oh, friends being involved in relationships?
Oh, okay. Okay. Well, that's a whole other beast, but
that's a whole other beast.
That is. I guess we can touch on that too. The trap. I think you were saying that. Is that correlating with leading them on?
The all or nothing.
The all or
all or nothing.
Ultimatum.
Ultimatum trap.
Oh, I mean, come on, man. At some point, you have to say, well, you don't want half of your car. You don't want half of your closet. You don't want just one shoe. Like, at the end of the day, I'm not saying, I'm not even going against you fellas, but at the end of the day, you gotta. I mean, why wouldn't you want it all?
I mean, we're not saying this. We're not saying
you want half of your paycheck.
We're not saying that's too bad. We're not saying
it goes both ways. Like with men and women having like a male friend or a female friend, they be like, I don't want you being friends with her. That's fine. We understand that. But have a reason. I don't like her isn't a reason.
Okay.
What is the
Like,
check?
I don't like her isn't a reason. Like, why do you not like her? Has she approached me in a certain type of way that was disrespectful to you? Has she disrespected our relationship? Or do you just not like her because she's pretty?
I mean, I understand that. I mean,
like, oh, that's your girl. You're cool. But if she was like some pretty like woman that intimidates you, maybe, then you'll be like, I don't want you hanging out with her. And that's just insecurity with her.
That depends on the woman. I've had some women who didn't want me to have friends, and I've had some women who didn't care about my friends. But I mean, that depends on how you as a man carry it as well. Do you bring her around that girlfriend, or is every time you're around her separate from when you're with your girl? Stuff like that creates friction. Stuff like that, creates problems. But I mean, as far as all of you, I mean, are y'all saying that she just only wants you to tweet her? She only wants you.
It be happening like that sometimes. But what we were really saying, what we were really saying is that sometimes in the phase of really getting to know somebody, sometimes we need time. We need time. It's just like, it's not like we need time because we have so many options, but it's like if we're gonna really take that time to sacrifice and invest time in you, don't rush the situation. Don't speed up the situation to give us an ultimatum. And it's just like, yo, I just met you like a month ago. Whoa, like, I'm not saying none of y'all do that, but just generally speaking.
Yeah, that's when you see something good, you can't help but want to make it yours. So you can understand that people.
Thank you.
You can understand why sometimes they may want to rush, but as women, you do have to be patient. You have to let something build. You gotta, let it become what it's supposed to become. You can't automatically jump on it and say, we've been talking for 4 months and you're either gonna be mine or you're not, because he might not be ready.
After a period of time, like how long are you supposed to wait?
I guess that would depend on the bond.
Yeah.
I mean,
it varies. I feel like that varies as a male.
It just depends on the man.
Could be not.
You have to be honest with yourself.
We get there when we
Do you think?
JK.
What, do you think that?
You guys let her speak right there. Yes.
Do you think that in a situation, initially it's like, all right, boom, we are talking, it's just me and you. You do you, I do me, because we got to see how it's gonna go. So, say if I set that tone and I'm like, no, like you do you, I do me, I don't want nothing, like no, just me and you. But then time progresses and it's months down and we're spending time and we're intimate. And now feelings are progressing. And now because I set that tone, you're stuck in that tone that I set originally when now I'm off of that. Now it need to be me and you. How do you, even though I am communicating, I'm communicating this, my actions are showing this. And it's like, how do you get that person out of that initial set of making it more than making it what it should be. Even though actions is saying that, and I have all of your time, and I'm waking up to you, going to sleep to you. Now what?
That's on the person.
I think.
But what do you?
Like, sit down and talk.
Alright, I think that.
You're right. Some people, I like how it was.
If you start on this in this particular playing field, a man is gonna get comfortable. I told you, men are resistant to change. Not all the time, but when they're comfortable, they like to be comfortable. A guy will hold on to the same chair forever, or when he's comfortable, he likes to be comfortable. So if you set a certain standard, he thinking like, man, she cool. She don't trip. She don't bother me with this. She don't do this. So that's why you get the time that you want. But when you start switching it, because he's already put you in this box. He's already put you in this light. Now, I believe that things should naturally progress. I believe that things should naturally, if you're here, and you're going to hear, and you're going to go there, you're going to go there. But if you're telling him from the jump, like, well, you do you, and I'm going to do me, then he just put you in a box.
How you get out of it?
Honestly, it's hard to get out of it, but it would depend on that man. So, with some men, you're not going to get out of it.
Exactly.
With some men, you're going to be stuck there.
Yeah.
Until you decide to remove yourself from the situation. But, that it would help as a woman for you to be patient before you decide to agree to that. Because you're kind of setting yourself up when you do that. You go ahead.
All right, just elaborate on the trap a little bit more. Like, don't you know how a woman, like how you're saying, ultimatum, and you're like, I'm gonna do this to make him mine. Like, if somebody's not comfortable to moving up yet, don't try to force it. If I'm not ready to meet your, if somebody's not ready to meet your parents yet, don't try to like make it happen. You know what I'm trying to say? I think that's what we were speaking of when we said a trap, because it feels like a lot of times women try to like, okay, speed it up. I want him. He's not doing this, but it's all about how you approach it. You know what I'm trying to say? You gave an example earlier, like don't leave your stuff over just to make an excuse to come back. When you come back, you want to be busy tomorrow morning. You know what I'm trying to say? Like if you generally, want to see me, I'm gonna be like, and if I'm saying I'm busy, respect the fact that I said I'm busy or I can't make it. Things like that. I think that's more so what we meant when we said trap.
I think all right, as men and women alike, all right, we expect. If you date a girl that does that, that's your fault. All right, don't blame her for wanting stuff to change. You dating a childish girl. If that's the games that she played, the games she played, then you either decide whether you want to deal with her or you don't. If you choose to deal with her, then prepare to deal with childish stuff. Prepare to deal with her leaving her stuff over. Prepare to deal with her popping up or asking you about. You have to decide what you as a man want. Because it's not all about changing them. Sometimes we have to sit there and look at ourselves and like, all right, I knew she was like that. It was cute at first. I don't like it so much now. Because some guys they might like it. Like, all right, she was feisty. She she could snap back. She she got a little attitude on her. They like that at first when they're trying to chase you. But when you have a problem with them, they don't like it as much. Now it's nagging. So it just depends on the dude. It depends on the guy. Go ahead.
I just want to piggyback on what she was saying. If you I feel like for guys actually sleeping with you, waking up with you every morning, like y'all really spending that much time together, he has no choice but to be feeling you just as much as you feeling him. Like, we have feelings too. We're not just gonna spend that much time with you and we're not actually, starting to really be passionate about you as well.
Correct. But
so if you feel, just let me finish. So if you sit down with them, like actually be like, okay, look, this is where we started, but this is where we are now, and like, we really came a long way from just being friends and maybe casually having sex to actually liking each other and I really want to be with you type of thing. I communicate that with him. I mean, he has no choice but to respond back. He's not going to just dish you and be like, nah, I want to keep it how it was.
The thing with that is just because a guy cares doesn't mean he's going to do right. Just because he cares about you doesn't mean he's going to give you what you want. He could legitimately care about you, but he liked y'all's situation the way it was. It goes back to my point of letting them miss out. Every guy's not gonna be able to grow with you. When you get to this point, he's not gonna be able to get there. Some guys are built to grow with you, and some guys don't want to.
I think as women we overanalyze a lot of things, and we cannot if we're together, I can't expect your love language to be mine. I can't expect for you to verbalize. Like you might can feel how I feel. Your feelings might be more intense than mine. But because you don't verbalize it, I think we have to be more observant within your actions. And sometimes your actions will say volumes without you even needing to say anything. Right. And with a female, I can tell you everything verbally as well as give it to you. But it's like, I kind of want that too. I don't want you to be mushy and emotional, but at the same time, tell me where my heart is for you, as well as show it. Once in a blue.
I believe that if we all understand communication, the majority of it is nonverbal. 9 out of 10 times he's answered your question with his actions before you ask it. You're asking because you want to hear something different than he's showing you. And that's a setup in itself. Guys aren't always going to communicate. That's something we have to learn how to do. That's something we have to read and talk and be around other strong men who do communicate. The one thing you can't hide as a man is what you do. He follows you. He's going to show you. Before you ask him, he's going to show you. You're going to know the answer. You're just asking him because you want to hear something different. Your feelings have led you to believe that if he says something different, that means he'll do something different. That's not the same.
Underestimate the power in the conversation. Like a conversation can hold a lot.
A conversation can, but that depends on the person's receptibility. Every man is not receptive. The same if you were having sex with a woman and she came to you and she said, "I want to be with you," and you were like, "Well, we have been spending time and I do care for you," and you decided to step up. The same man could say, "Well, nah."
At least you know where they stand.
Exactly, but that's on her. Like it goes back to some women not really wanting to know.
I think this goes back to the whole double standard thing we were saying at first. Just like you said, as people, we always want confirmation. I think if you're waiting for somebody to confirm what you clearly know, clearly see in their behavior, you're more or less wasting your time because a lot of times you're never going to get that. And this is with any relationship, whether it's your boyfriend, your friend, your father. When somebody's offended you, or you know that they're not in a certain place with you, and you're waiting for that verbal confirmation, you're wasting your time. So I think that, like he said, it's the way you approach it. If you approach it generally like, we started off this way, but here I am. Here I am now. This is how I feel about you, and it's only logical for somebody to give a response. And if they're not there yet, and you keep letting it float, like y'all keep hanging out, but you know that he's not on the same page, whatever hurt that you would have felt initially by letting him go is going to be greater in 2 months by letting it get deeper. So it's all about your personal integrity once again. That if you realize that this is not healthy because we're not on the same level, or because he's wasting my time, or I like him and he just wants to chill, then let it go. Whatever hurt you feel that day is going to be better than when you realize tomorrow that you got played, or that he likes another girl more, or whatever the case may be.
It was going to piggyback on something you said, but lots been said since then. But what I wanted to say is that I think a lot of males and females get confused, and this is not just in relationships, with all relationships, between friendships and everything. We get confused that not everybody in your life is meant to be there forever. Everybody's in life for a season. So you're meant to take what you learn from them, what you learn about yourself, and what you learn from them to move on to the next. Right. Not everybody's meant to stay there. Not everybody's meant to sit there and try to cultivate something with. Maybe they were just there for fun for that moment, that fling right quick, or just to get to know them. And maybe y'all actually really meant to just be friends. And I think people get that confused and they get upset, or they feel like we built something, we got some emotion there, but it's not nothing there for actually be long lasting. It's meant to be there for that moment, for you to see that you could do that with that person, move on to the next. And I think people try to keep it going longer than what it's supposed to, and that's when feelings get hurt or people get all confused and all that mess like that.
People have, sorry, she has something to say too right there.
I think it's best on from both parties that when you actually start to entertain sexual relations, I think, you know, especially me being a Christian, I think that's a whole different level, you know, of your expectations. I think that's why we have the same routine of possibilities like, okay, now someone's pregnant or something like that, so then you have to interact with that person. If you're, you know, sharing yourself, I'm the person on the stands, if you're sharing yourself with somebody, then, you know, if that person is not honoring you, whatever person it is, then that's a problem in itself. And I think us as black people in the black community, that is, you know, a very, very serious issue that we have. So just a fling or just kicking it or whatever, there's a lot of responsibility that comes with that. You know what I mean? If you all are not even an item, you know, and especially us as females, once we share ourselves with someone, we're connected with someone. I mean, otherwise the men, they could just, you know, especially nowadays, they could just hit this, hit that, and then just, you know, be gone.
Let me give you a scenario.
We're gonna do one last response and then move on to the next topic.
I got something real quick. I'm gonna just give you a quick scenario. Let's say, the female and the guy, they kicking it together. No sex involved. They kicking together. They like each other. Everything is cool. Everything is smooth. You know what I mean? But they're not together. They're not an item, right? The guy, for instance, wants to be an item with that girl because they haven't even had sex and he ain't never experienced nothing like that. You know what I mean? They just cool like that and it's cool. So he want to make them an item so he could start having sex and feel comfortable with that. Or she could feel comfortable with having sex with him because they're an item. You know what I mean? But she's not ready for that because she's so cool with what it is right now. She feel like if they do make it an item and do have sex, then it's going to get messed up. But the guy is like, all right, let's say how y'all females were, where it's like now or never or all or nothing. The guy's like, either we gonna be together or we not. You know what I mean? I don't want to keep playing this cool game. You know what I mean? And I'm not even. And I got other people that I can have sex with. We put it straight like that.
Straight like that.
that happens the same way that happens. Male and female, like we all go through that. You know, we all reach that point to where we want to be with somebody that may not want to be with us, or somebody wants to be with us that we don't want to be with. It definitely all goes back to communication. You know, saying, I want this, can you offer them? You know, and if they say they can't, or if they don't have a clear enough answer that meets your standards, then you have to accept that. And, you know, acceptance is a big part, you know, but the biggest role, the way of protecting and being responsible to your own heart is not to shy away from expectations. Say what you want. Say what you expect. Put it out there. If they can't do it, they can't do it. You have to accept that. Regardless of how much you like them, regardless of how much you care for them, you have to accept that. So we'll move on to the next one. Social networks. You said twatching and all that other stuff. Social networks do create a weird imbalance for dating these days. Twitter has given a lot of people a voice to share thoughts that they might not usually share. And when that does, it kind of skews the vision of the person you thought they were or what you thought you wanted to know. But one thing it does, it has decreased the effort that we put into getting to know a person. Twitter has ruined effort. We feel like if we watch their timeline, then we'll know what we're doing, we'll know how they're feeling. And that has really stopped us from asking necessary questions. It stopped us from, you know, taking the extra step to actually understand and get to know. And I always say, if you're twatching him and, you know, if you're twatching her or whatever, and you're allowing that to create a divide between you two, and you're really cheating yourself out of a strong bond. Because everything you see is not real. You know the old thing, believe half of what you see. So the best thing to do is to put real work in. Actually try to get to know a person aside from watching their tweets or watching their Instagram or doing all that stuff, because it's really only showing you a portion of a very small picture. You ever seen a picture when it's cropped? And then when you remove a crop, it's a lot more to it. Social networks just give you this all across the board. That's all they give you. It just give you this. You're only getting the thoughts that I'm willing to share. You're only knowing the places that I'm willing to show you. You're only seeing the images that I'm willing to show. But that's not everything. And I think that a lot of times we let that limit how far we go with a person. You know, I think that social networks has a lot of people slipping because we forget what real effort is. We genuinely forget what real effort is. And you know, the same way it connects us, it divides us. Because we have a lot of strong situations that we can have that we kind of cheat because they tweeted the wrong thing one night, or because they posted the wrong picture. You know, we cheat ourselves out of genuine effort. Y'all good?
I agree with that.
Last one.
No initiative in planning events. This is a interesting.
Don't look like that.
Okay. Typically, you have men that are indecisive and you have women that are indecisive. And as a man, we've all had our times where we've been in the car and the girl says she's hungry and we'll say, "You want to go to Outback?" And she'll say, "No, I don't want Outback." And you'll say, "Well, what do you want?" "I don't know, whatever." And then you say, "Well, what do you have a taste for?" It doesn't really matter. And in his mind, he's like, "I just said Outback." But you know, I feel like it's very good to be assertive as a woman as well. Of course, you want the man to take the initiative, and you know, if y'all first couple times going out, he should have an idea in mind already. He should have something that he wants to do, a plan. When he starts to incorporate you or tries to say, you know, what would you like to do? Have a suggestion. Don't be a whatever girl, because whatever girls get treated in whatever ways. And if you do that,
Somebody tweet that.
but if you do that, you're really setting yourself up. So it's good to try to trade places sometimes. You know, hit them up and say, you know, Living Social has this idea, let's do that. Groupon has this idea, let's do that. Don't throw Twitter hints, throw him hints. All the time you see girls, I want to go to the movies.
Word.
Tell the guy you're talking to. It's not about that, but it's tell him. Call him and tell him. Look up movie times and say, hey, this is showing at this time, I want to go see it. A little initiative, you have to help someone care for you. You have to help someone love you. You have to help someone treat you the right way. And the little things go a long way. If you want to be happy, you will help somebody be happy. You know, it help the guy help you. You know, help him satisfy or fulfill that need. I'm not saying you have to plan every date from T, because he should get it after you do it once, if he's smart or if he's the kind of man that, you know, good women want. He'll get it. You know, but it takes some initiative. It takes you saying, hey, I like to do this, you know, or come up with an idea, plan a date. Let him see what type of woman you are versus hoping he just knows. Because every woman is different, you know. You liking him to plan dates, and the next girl or the last girl probably didn't like that at all. You know, she wanted to go back and forth with I don't knows for 3 hours, you know, until y'all just sit around and chill, you know. But and I will just throw this out. A lot of women hate the let's chill thing, but let's chill comes from your plethora of I don't knows. No. It's easier to say let's chill when we know you're not going to have any ideas anyway. I just throw that out. But I guess we tackled the others.
Well, that was a very interesting and productive conversation, to say the least. I just have one more question for you. What is your motivation?
When I was 14, I said I wanted to make the world smile. That's what I tell my son he's going to do when he grows up, so that's my motivation. I like helping people. I like for when people have a problem, they can come to me. They can trust me. They know I'm going to be honest. They know I'm going to be real. They know I'm dependable. They know I'm consistent. So my motivation is helping people. It's being there. It's being that person that cares. That's my motivation. I love to help people. I like being someone with the solution for problems. And if I don't have a solution, I like being the one that helps them find it. So that's my motivation.
Thank you.
No problem.
My man.
Thank you.
100.